Here we have an MX1102 Bluetooth low energy CO2 temp RH logger in the box. This is how it's received. That's the way it's shipped from the factory. The label on the box has the part number, the description, and the serial number of the device. We unpackage it. First thing we see is the quick start guide. Very important that you read through this. Make yourself familiar with it. It's just a very small piece of paper. But it basically, the important thing that it says in here is it says the CO2 sensor that we use in here can experience drift even in the box, even if it's not turned on. So we always recommend do a manual calibration on it as soon as you get it before you deploy it. Otherwise, if you just configure it, it comes from the factory configured for both automatic and manual calibration. So it gives you the ability to do either. If you don't do a manual calibration right away, it will run in your, once you launch it, it will operate and recalibrate itself automatically after the first 24 hours. That's a good feature. However, if you're in a location where the CO2 levels stay elevated all the time, if you never see ambient down near ambient CO2 levels during that 24-hour period, your calibration will be skewed. It won't be correct because it's going to take the lowest value that it sees during that 24-hour period and apply that as its calibration offset. This building here, Onset's building, is great for this because it ventilates very well at night, and we only have a second shift that works until 11. So overnight, the CO2 levels go down to ambient. So it's a perfect application for this device, and it recalibrates itself nicely. However, depending on your application, it's probably a good idea to do a manual cal as soon as you get it out of the box. And there's some other information in here about how to use the app, the HOBO mobile app. This logger, you can also use HOBOware, the free version of HOBOware, with a direct USB connection if you want to also. Comes with a couple of zip ties, some little ears, some mounting ears that you can put on here if you want. There's some 3M zip strip here that basically you put that on there. It's like picture hanging strip, so you can put it on the wall and then remove it without damaging the paper. There's also a drilling template. That's what this folded piece of paper in here is for. If you want to mount this to the wall using wall anchors, those are not included, but if you wanted to use wall anchors, you can use this as a drilling template to figure out where you want to place those anchors. So here's our logger. Here's our 4 AA batteries. And we're going to take the back off this logger, put the batteries in it, and we'll get it up and running. AA batteries came with the logger. The reason it's 4, the sensor is very power hungry. This is the CO2 sensor here under this circular area. So in order to run this device on battery power for as long as possible, you need as much power as we can get. So the 4 AA's will give us 6 months on battery power, or better. I have one here in this room that's been operating now for about 5 months, and the battery level hasn't even gone down at all. So, but I have it logging every 15 minutes, sorry, and sampling every 5. So here's our logger. Here's our statement, our FCC statement for Bluetooth low energy. Put that aside. And we have our trusty Leatherman tool for opening the back. It's just a little Phillips screw. There we go. There's the back open. Put our 4 batteries in here. And put it back on. In order to do the calibration, the logger has to be logging, so you do have to launch it. So there we go. And you can see now we have a little battery icon right here that shows the battery is full. So we know that this is the battery's in it. Again, this is the CO2 sensor, the carbon dioxide sensor. In here, it's an NDIR device, which is an infrared detection method. There's the temperature sensor right inside here. This is where the alarm comes through. The RH sensor is inside. There are 3 buttons for calibrating and for starting and stopping. There's a USB port that can be used to connect directly to HOBOware, or you can use it to power the device as well. We sell an optional AC power source, a USB power source. Any 5-volt USB power source will work, as long as you're using a mini-B type USB connector on the other end. So that works just fine. There's our serial number label. And there's our hangers for if we wanted to put those wall anchors in. We use that drilling template. Drill those out of the wall, put your anchors in the wall, and just hang it right there. Okay? So let's go into HOBO Mobile and we can show you how to configure this device.